Good afternoon. Hello, Jill. Hello, Paul. Hello, Daphne. Welcome on time today, Daphne. Well done. She did say it. She said she's on time. I wasn't being rude.
Patronising? What's it? I was going to say.
No, she did say. It's not always easy to get here on time, I know. We did a portrait in charcoal this morning.
Oh, how did that go?
All right, I've fixed it so you can have a look. Hang on.
What did you do?
A charcoal portrait.
Smudgy.
Smudgy, there we go. That's mine.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Do you know, one of the most impressive things I saw at the RA this year was a charcoal drawing of a girl.
You see, we've got. Hello, Judith. We had a neighbour of Jackie's is New York School of Art trained,
Wow.
and he came and did a talk at the Art Society several years ago. And he works mainly in charcoal.
Molly. She was over the moon with those Harry Potter's Harry.
Good.
Molly.
Here we go. Look, I'll show you Michael's work in charcoal. There you are.
Oh, my God.
Oh, isn't it lovely?
He does amazing stuff, almost photographic.
Wow.
They are, aren't they?
That's something to aspire to, isn't it?
Paul said it, after seeing my my portrait, he said, "How did I get you to pose?" D.
Me?
Yeah, how did I get D to pose? He said.
Cheeky monkey.
So not a lot to draw today, just some hay bales and a line.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Doing
good.
the hay bales, make sure I get them in the right place. They're not very hard to draw, really, are they?
I'm nearly there.
I can't show you my Guas badger because that's gone. Hello, Diana. Long time no see. Lovely to have you with us.
I know you said ultramarine, didn't you?
Yeah, there's ultramarine, cerulean blue, cadmium yellow and cadmium red.
Rightio.
So not a lot.
It's rather lovely, this, isn't it?
Well, it's good that you've been busy, Diana.
In Norway, they call those tractor eggs.
Tractor eggs.
Yeah.
We don't have the proper old-fashioned bales anymore, do you know, like the stacks. You don't see haystacks anymore.
They're far less efficient.
Mm. Oh, Paul said years ago he convinced his granddaughter that these bales were cow eggs.
Cow egg. They're a bit big for
They're a
cow.
bit. I was going to say, you must have a massive cow.
Tractor eggs is.
La 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 la. Thank you, Port Norman. Thank you very much. Norman's all drawn. You did a lovely drawing yesterday, and popping Betsy Boo in there
It was nice, wasn't
with
it?
the woman walking through the mall. Everybody did a cracking job with that dress.
Yeah. Some people took much more wind blown than
Yes,
which I thought was really nice.
but very well done. We've had a really varied set of classes this week. Barn owl in the morning, and then what did I do Monday evening?
Yeah, what was the drawing one? I like that.
A woman walking through a
That's it,
moor,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it was very nice.
What did I do? I can't remember what I did Monday night. Oh, a distant deer in an eerie woodland. And then Tuesday afternoon was the mossy bridge. Wednesday morning was a badger. Then Wednesday afternoon was a woman walking through a moor. And then this morning was a portrait. This afternoon, hay bales. Tomorrow afternoon is parrots. Saturday morning is misty fir trees. Been a busy old week.
It has.
Judith's drawn. Paul's drawn. Norman's drawn.
I'm drawn.
I've drawn.
I'm drawn. We're all drawn. I'm drawn. You're drawn. We're all drawn
Yeah,
for drawing.
one is using them as Harry Potter's baby.
What, big Harry Potter?
Yeah, big Harry Potter's now got a little baby.
Oh.
Good.
Are you going to have to make arm and legs for big Harry Potter?
I've got to do that, yeah.
Yes. I kind of like him without arms and legs. I think he looks cute.
So do I. Oh, try and convince Molly that.
How long has it been since you did a class, Diana? I can't remember.
Ages.
I've not said hello, Diana, for a long time. Well, not to this Diana. So, cerulean blue, ultramarine, cadmium yellow, cadmium red. Fairly limited palette today. I've said cerulean blue because that sky isn't ultramarine fully, is it? There's some
No,
cooler tones in that sky.
it's very grey.
The advantage we've got is that those clouds on both sections of the sky will dissect any areas that might go wrong when we're blending. Perfect timing.
When I knew we were going to do this, I thought, oh, this is going to be wonderful. It's going to be beautiful sunshiny sky and beautiful
No.
hay bales. And I looked at it this morning and I thought,
Missed.
oh my God, missed again.
Lots of wash and yummy stuff.
Yeah, we like a bit of mist. I'll show you what we did on Monday, just in case you haven't seen. Because we don't do the same thing on Monday evenings now as we do on Thursday, to try and encourage some people to do more classes. That was it.
Nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
With a little bit of pastel for the rays of light,
Yeah.
and a microscopic deer that when I drew it, it looked like something that was something Neolithic on a cave wall. Somebody with a spear coming to attack it. So that was quite nice
Yeah.
to get the depth and distance in the, because there's no background. It's all to do with the different tones of grey trees,
Yeah.
and then you've got a strip of foreground, and then you have to make that look like it's like 50 feet long.
Yeah.
They had to do something similar on Watercolour Challenge last week with the Four Winds Temple, because they had that just grass, wasn't it?
Yeah, and there was one lady who didn't make it. That trapezium shape.
Yes.
She did and it looked so wrong.
It is difficult, and we've kind of got the same with this, haven't we? Because we haven't got hills. The only thing that gives us distance is the mid-ground to the almost foreground, because the hay bales are different sizes.
Yeah.
But this bit is really hard because we haven't got anything to dissect.
Would it be better to chop it off under the...
Chop off what? Have it like that?
Or even further up under the
Like,
bed.
like that?
Have you got all little different hay bales?
I've got little ones in the background, but they're all dark, so you don't have to draw them in. You could just paint them. Yeah, that could work. I'd have more sky. But I'll try and think of something exciting for the foreground. to make it even more exciting. So I'm going to soak my squirrel. Move my brushes out the way.
Squirrel soaking time.
Stop. It's squirrel time. I need a new shaving brush. Mine's losing. Mine's very. I'm old-fashioned.
Well, yeah,
Obviously.
I'm not.
When we're shaving, I still use a shaving brush in a tin and,
Oh right.
and
Yeah.
everything. But my badger brush is very thin. It's about 10 years old now, so it's lost a lot of its bulk and bristle.
Well, you're lots of days too late telling us because you've had your birthday.
Well, I know. I'm just saying. It made me realise because it's looking a bit like my squirrel brush now, so I might bring it in and paint with it one day.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm wetting the whole sky down to the horizon.
Down to the trees.
Yes, because I haven't drawn the trees because I thought we'd have a little bit of freedom there, and it depends how wrong the sky goes to where we stick the trees, you see. Always plan ahead. Little Lizzie is now able to get up the steps herself, so they have to close my gate on my shop because she comes in and like heads straight for the squeezy paint for the kids paint down the bottom. So I've just seen her granny running up behind her and then my gate is closed, making my shop Lizzie proof. Right, so we've got that. Then I'm going to do a little bit of cadmium yellow here, quite strong in the mid area, and I'm going to really fade it up. So it's stronger and down to the horizon, but we'll add a bit of red and all sorts of stuff because I want to show you how to not get a green sky.
Oh, yes.
So we'll go with a bit of cadmium red and
Really dark. Is that
no, it's just later evening. So we've got a bit of cad red here. It's actually a lot stronger red down on this bottom.
Those streaks are bright red.
And then
Mm.
put a bit of cad red in.
Yeah, cad red towards the bottom, but I'm going to be a bit sneakeroony, and I'm going to shove a bit of cad red here. And the reason why I've put the cad red up there to make it more orange is because when we add the blue, it will not go green. That's the theory. Now don't forget, watercolour's dry, 30% lighter. So the colour you put on is not the colour that you will finish with.
Bright sky is going to definitely.
Yes.
I think I want more red. So we have a new exhibition down in the cafe for the month.
Coming in.
No, it's already up.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. I put it up Tuesday evening. And then I want a nice dull colour. So I'm going to actually go with quite a bit of cerulean because we've got to do this while it's all wet. Bit of ultramarine, cerulean and a touch of cadmium red. Paul, I'm not ignoring you. You did ask if I've done any full pans of my paint yet. No, I've only got some full ultramarine that I was testing out. I think it'll work. So when I next have a paint making day, I will be doing some. Oh, that's quite nice where it meets the orange. It goes a really dusk. Oh, yes. So that's the two blues, but mainly cerulean and a tinsy bit of cadmium red. I think I overwet my paper.
I think I definitely didn't.
And you bring that down into the.
Into the orange a little. But I'll probably clean my brush a fraction to try and fade it in a little bit more. But we have said, didn't we, that we've got clouds that dissect this, so it don't matter. Nothing really matters to me. No, nothing matters because on Tuesday night I won £3.30 on the lottery. So this is my last class. I'm retiring. I'm off to Hawaii.
Did you spend it all in one go, all in one shot?
No, I'm saving it. It's part of my pension plan. Right, I want a nice dull purple. Now, I could mix it in two ways. I could either do cerulean and cadmium red or ultramarine and cadmium red. Ultramarine and cad red will give me a duller purple, but that's still purple, a rich purple, whereas cerulean blue and cadmium red will give me a grey purple. So maybe I'll mix both blues.
I'm going to use my sky colour.
And then, oh, look at that.
Both blues.
And a bit of red.
Both blues.
Oh, beautiful. And working while your sky's damp will really help. And I'm doing my brush quite choppy on its side to do some choppy sidewards clouds. I'm feeling a bit free today. Free. Like Dobby. With his sock. That's a beautiful colour I've managed to create, and I don't think I could do it again, so I'm glad I don't have to repeat this class for another 12 weeks. So I don't think I could do it. A little bit more blue, and then we can do these horizon. Oh no, that's too blue. Too blue. So blue. It's better. I need more red, actually. I thought I wanted more blue. Turns out that was a lie. We've got to allow for some trees as well, haven't we? And these are stripy clouds rather than choppy. I wonder if people listen in on my class and think, what on earth is he describing? Because we stab and chop and do all manner of weird and wonderful things. But thankfully you all kind of know what I'm on about. So my paper is still wet. Well, damp. But that is a beautiful colour. I couldn't have got this better if I'd have tried. Perfect. I just hope I can't ruin it now with the rest of the picture. Right, I'm going to stop there. I'm pleased with that.
Yes.
It's got a nice glow on it, hasn't it?
It certainly has.
Will it stay like that when it dries 30% lighter? That is the question.
Been a good week for you.
I have. I've been busy.
Mm-hmm.
It's been good. It's been good to sort of be able to do, just sort of taking a bit of stock rather than being really busy,
Yeah.
which is nice. And the children are all well, so that helps dramatically, doesn't it?
Yeah. Has your daughter gone away on honeymoon?
Let me get the hairdryer on
Back
this.
now, she's back at work. They just went to the new dog. They've got this one with them. So that's because just the method
I'm actually using the back of the paper that I did Saturday's demo on. Saturday's class of the Snowy Cottage.
Oh, fair enough.
Because it's not one that I'm going to sell. So I'll just stick it on the back.
That's good.
Well, it's just a bit boring. This one might work though, but I can't sell it for 12 weeks. Because I need to use it to show the Friday lot what to go towards, you see.
Absolutely.
What we're at. Oh, that's nice, D. You've got a nice streak of white in yours, which gives it more of a glow.
That was a lot of your shadow colour.
Good mix, isn't it?
Useful.
Now I've got to get back. Since we've trebled the classes that we're teaching, I don't have a lot of paint mixing time at the minute, and I've still got a pet portrait to get done. So I've got to try and steal some time next week. I basically only have Tuesday mornings and some Friday mornings now to do everything that when I'm not teaching.
Oh, right.
Because I teach Tuesday afternoons, Wednesday mornings, Wednesday afternoons, Thursday mornings and Thursday afternoons and Friday afternoons. Nearly every Saturday, and Monday mornings and Monday evenings. So I don't have a lot of non-teacher time.
Do you teach Monday from home?
I teach Monday morning is Wardington,
Yeah.
and then Monday evening from home. I would teach Monday evening from here if I had 3 people that would want to come in, but I don't want to drag myself in on a day that we're not open.
No.
Because I used to, a long time ago, I used to have a Monday morning member of staff who'd be here till they'd do 9:30 till 3:30.
Yeah.
And then I'd come back, and then the shop would be open till 9 o'clock in the evening, and I'd teach the Monday class here when we had like 9 people that would come.
Yeah.
So it was worth it. We wouldn't have many customers in the day, but I mean, I'm kind of enjoying not being at work on a day that I'm not open.
To teach it from home on Monday, because then you've got Sunday off, haven't you? Then you've got Monday off.
Yeah.
You know, and you think, oh well, I've only got to go out Monday morning.
Yeah. Well, that's it, and that's just up
It's just
up the road from me, so it's not like a big thing. Yeah, and it's nice on bank holiday Mondays. I do teach the class on the evening still, but in the mornings I don't do Wardington, so I have got a Sunday, Monday, almost all of Monday. Not that I do a fat lot anyway. I tend to just do a lot of nothing, which I'm really trying hard to do, because I always have to try and think I have to be doing something. I've had to really force myself.
I have to be doing something, but I've taught myself that sitting and reading is doing something.
Yes. I'm so goal oriented, and I've been all my life. I have to set myself targets all the time, even in my day when I wake up. I write, right, this time I do this, and then I'll do that, and then I'll do this, and then I'll do that, and then I'll do that, and then I'll relax.
I do that.
Then the time's my own, but sometimes the time might be my own at 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Well, you can't get anything done then.
Yeah.
I'll prefer it in the summer when the lights are night. You know, it's much evening.
Oh, do you know, it's so
A bit
much
more
lighter.
alive.
It's so much lighter in the evening now.
I'm still walking home in the dark, walking to the car in the dark, but because I'm not leaving here till 6.
Well, do you remember just before Christmas I was saying I didn't want to walk to the
Yes,
car
yes.
and now it's fine.
Well, I mean, it's lovely out there now. I mean,
Yeah.
it would be starting to look a bit dusk while we were out there. Oh, your paper was too wet. Oh, what's happened is it as your paper of your clouds. I bet they look quite soft and fluffy clouds, though. See, what I do like about my paints is the granulation. So I've got hints of red coming through, and I haven't done it on purpose.
blue.
It's nice, isn't it? But I'm glad I chose. I really wasn't going to choose cerulean today. And I thought, you know what? There's a lot of blue in this. And that sky is not cerulean and it's not ultramarine.
No,
It's
but
a
it's
nice
too-
mix.
it's too bright
Yes.
for ultramarine.
Yeah.
isn't it?
It's a cool colour, whereas the clouds are a warm purple. The sky is a cool blue.
Yes.
So it's which it is normally this time. You know, autumn time, hay baling time. The sky goes a much cooler blue.
Yeah. It was interesting that watercolour challenge with the Temple of the Four Winds.
Mm.
How there was a couple of them who really moved the temple further into the foreground
Yes.
because it was so far away.
It was. It was. Now you see, what would be interesting with that is if you sat and took a photo, it would either push the temple way back
Yeah.
or bring it forward. The one I liked is when he'd got the statue on the left,
Yeah.
the silver birches on the right, or whichever way around,
Yeah.
and then the temple in the middle. And that really was a good triangular compositional device. I thought that was.
Every week I've been thinking this was.
But I wish he hadn't used candle wax to do the silver birches, because you can't cover them up. Once you put the candle wax down, it will repel everything that you
Well,
put in
wish
front
he'd
of it.
Borrowed user faces.
Masking fluid.
Masking fluid.
It would have been better, I think. It would have
'Cause
given
you
him.
did need it.
Yes, I think that the starkness of the silver birch against all of that green with the nice shadows worked really
Yeah.
nicely. But a bit of masking fluid would have been a
Yeah.
better option, because then he could have covered parts or dry brushed a bit of bark texture on.
Yeah.
Whereas with the candle wax, he was really
He was.
he
He'd shot himself in the foot.
yes,
didn't he?
because you can't fully see where you've put it until you painted it, and then it is like that forever and a day. La, 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 la. It's a very low lying mist, isn't it?
Mm.
I think we do escape the mists soon.
I like mist.
It is another sunset next week, but then we've got a building.
Mm.
Nuns Cross Farm on Dartmoor.
Oh, okay. If you say
Then
so.
panoramic fields, and then a blue butterfly on pink blossom, then a hare, then daisies. There are lots of exciting things. Trying to keep you on your toes, you see, because I don't like any of you getting bored. I've got to start doing the class list for because the July to December classes come out in Easter.
Oh right. Yeah.
What come out?
The rest of the year's booklet comes out, because we try to do it a couple of months in advance, but I only get like 2 to 3 months before I have to do the next one. But I've now got a system, so any pictures that I like, I save to my iCloud under a folder for the next lot. So I've just got thousands of pictures in there, and then I will go and create a folder for every week for the rest.
Have you still got the one I sent you of that camp on the Opal?
Yes, I think so. Yes,
House made of Wrigley tin.
that would be really nice. Got that there. Right, I think we've got to do the Misty Fields
Okay.
next. Let me
With the
just
misty fields.
let me just pivot my tile. You can do it. Right, so do you know what? I don't want. If we mixed cad yellow and ultramarine, we'd get a really dull green. But I don't want it dull straight away. So I'm going to do cad yellow and cerulean. Or that would be summer green in my tin. That's the brighter of the three greens.
Alright, I'll do summer green. I'll do as I'm told.
Because you could do that. So because cerulean is a green-based blue, and cadmium yellow is an orange-based yellow, you actually get a mid-green that's quite nice for summer, but also a good base for grassy stuff. So I'm going to put this on.
Is this wet and wet?
No, this is wet on dry.
That's
And as we get to the first hay bale, I really can't say hay
hay bale.
hay bale. For goodness sake.
Bad as cat camera.
Yes. And then I'm going to start adding more water to it so it gets soft and floaty like. I'm going to go round the bales of hay. But it doesn't matter if you haven't.
I can't take it off now.
And I've got to remember that it dries lighter. So actually, it's okay.
And it goes up to.
I've gone right up to that line actually. And then it goes a little bit darker again. So actually, I'll try and make this a little bit stronger. My sky's bled a little bit. A bit more colour. But we will do some dry brushing, maybe a bit of biro lid sgraffito.
And this is the next bit is like it's lighter, isn't it?
Yeah, just more water with it, Marie.
I'll take more water with it.
And that also, just by playing around with the tone and making it softer towards the back, does help give us an extra sense of distance and depth. So I'm finding it currently, a month in, I'm finding it quite exciting having all these new classes.
Good.
Because after 25 years, I don't want to be bored.
They wouldn't want you to be bored.
Because 2022 is my 25th anniversary of art education. Clearly I started at the age of 3 because I'm only 27.
Absolutely.
I used to get, it was quite weird actually, because when I was 17 teaching adults, and a lot of them were in their 60s, 70s then, so they were almost my grandparents' age. And some did, when I worked for Dale Arowney, didn't like a child telling them how to paint.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you find that peculiar teaching?
Yeah.
Like, have you always taught old people?
Yeah. Yeah, I should put on my business card I deal in antiques, really.
Yeah.
I teach art. No, but when I was 17, it was weird. But I did used to do kids classes back then as well. So I literally had both ends of the spectrum, and it was really hard. But most people realised, because I'd got exhibitions and they could see my work, that I was better than they were, so they didn't mind taking advice off me. But then you do get some that would go, what does he know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So you do get barriers being young. And I often wonder, like when Mozart was 15 and he did his composing and he made all these things, I wonder if people took him seriously straight away, Was it like, well, what does he know because he's a kid?
Yeah.
Well, I dare say that's what they did do, isn't it?
That's a lovely sky, G.
It is, isn't it?
I like the pale bit that you've got in, because I haven't got that. I've only got a tiny bit of it there, but
In the middle.
there, yeah, because it is like it in the picture, but it really gives it a strong glow.
Not quite sure. I think I'm going to have big trees.
What, on the horizon?
Yeah.
But what I'm thinking is my trees are going to have to be really dark, because those clouds are quite dark.
Yeah.
But then if my trees are dark, then that foreground hay bale's got to be really, really dark.
Isn't it about the same colour?
It is roughly a similar tone, isn't it? It's a bit bluer, the bales. Because I did put potentially Payne's Grey on the...
Do you know, that's interesting. The bale that's closest to us
Yes.
is dark at the bottom and light at the top.
Yes.
All the other bales
A dark at the top, at the light at the bottom. Because of the mist.
are not.
Interesting, isn't it? What I am going to do is, once this green base is dried, is I'm going to rub out the bottoms of the hay bales.
One have vanished.
Oh, that's handy because I have to do mine a lot darker because of the camera, but because they're mistier, what I don't want is to have the mist. Well, that's really nice. That's almost like a Turner-esque landscape anyway, isn't it?
It is a bit. I don't like a lot of his work.
You know, I don't mind a lot of his landscapes because I know once I started to appreciate his training in why he's using certain colours, I like his abstracts more because they still look like landscapes, and I couldn't work out why.
Yeah.
Now I know why, but I don't know. I mean, he was like the forerunner for Impressionism, but the Impressionists never said that he was in their inspiration, but clearly he was.
Oh yeah.
Judith says, if I paint my trees really large, I could cover their awful clouds. I'm sure they're not awful. And you could always go back over it again if you wanted to, but it would have to be really, really mega, mega dry. I'm just going to get the hairdryer so I can rub out my bottoms. My bottoms of my bales. Because I need the outline of them roughly, but the bottom really does disappear in the mist, doesn't it? There's not gorillas in the mist. Bales of A in the mist.
Bottom's in the mist.
Bottom's in the mist. And the trouble is, if I've accidentally painted a bit of green over them,
Which I have.
then I can't rub anything out.
Nope.
Never mind.
And you haven't left out some of that green. Oh yeah.
I find it fascinating how the camera really, look how it's there's a slightly lighter patch there, and it's really punched it up because of the contrast with that sky.
Yeah.
Twenty to 3 already. You've been here 40 minutes.
Oh.
Does it feel longer, you cheeky monkey?
Goes very quickly, doesn't it?
Do you know what? It's funny, isn't it? I think it's that old adage, like a watch kettle never boils. Because if you had 2 hours to kill, it can sometimes feel like 6.
Takes forever.
Yeah.
One Saturday it was so quiet down in the shop because Saturdays are. I was going to say Saturdays are quiet days, but since we've only had one customer all day, I think we'll struggle to beat that this week. Plus, I'm doing a demo on Saturday morning, so that'll usually that brings them in because when I'm busy, that's when they'll turn up. When I don't want them, when I need them. What's that?
Did you put a bit of darker green on?
It's the same green, but less water. Right at the very back, ready for the hills, the trees to sit on top. And I forgot what I was going to say.
Sorry, about your demo on Saturday.
Yeah, so it's going to be really busy. Whereas most Saturdays is really, really, really quiet. And I still can't remember why I was going to...
Sorry, that was me.
That's okay. Can I call you lovely painters like Fern does, please? Well, Fern doesn't know her students like I do, so that's why she can get away with it. I call you all my random dabblers.
I'd rather be a lovely painter.
You are a lovely painter. I'm quite jealous of some of your work sometimes. I want to come along and knock your water jar over.
She does paint lovely.
She does.
I think she paints. Do you know who she paints like? Sandra.
Yes. 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 Fiddler. She's a fiddler.
Oh, I try so hard not to feel.
I don't notice her really overly fiddling.
No.
Sandra used to do. She used to really fiddle.
Yeah. Sandra's a self-confessed, and Diana, you're a fiddler, aren't you? Because I used to have an afternoon of fiddlers sometimes.
I try so hard.
But you have got a very similar side to Sandra, which is interesting.
I noticed it when I first came here.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, she paints like Sandra.
Yeah,
Well, that's a compliment.
it is.
Yes, it is.
It is. Sandra's cracking. But yeah, all right, Paul. If it makes you feel better, I'll call you all lovely painters.
Does Sandra ever do any online?
Yeah. Some weeks she does. She, not always every week, but
No.
she's often online, and does the painting. And Daphne's here this week, and Diana's here this week. And I don't know if we've got Joy because sometimes their comments don't show up. But she does quite a lot.
Joy normally puts her picture on.
Yes, Diana's just said, yes, I like fiddling. I know you do, because you normally sit diagonally opposite me, don't you? So I could...
Fiddling away.
Fiddling away.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is a fiddly lesson. Do you think... I reckon if you're a fiddler, you could fiddle a lot with that foreground when we get to it.
Yeah.
I reckon, but we'll see. Right, so I want a nice dark green now, and this is where I'm going to... And this is for the grass still, or the stubble. Although it does look like grass, doesn't it? It doesn't look like freshly cut stubble to me. It's green.
Maybe they're silage bales.
Maybe.
What it looks like somebody. No, what it is actually is where somebody's done the hay bales, and that in fact is the hay that's left on top, isn't it?
Yes.
Only we can't see it because it's like
Dark. Misty and dark. So we'll go ultramarine and cadmium yellow this time, or your autumn green, which is your dull green above your dark Barry's grey. So we'll mix that colour. So I'm not doing any trees for this. I will be doing a bit of dry brushing for this. So I should switch to my number 4. Because if you do it too dull, sometimes it's tricky to get greens, isn't it? The colour that you want.
Green's tricky, I think.
Well, there's a lot of it, and I think that Four Winds lesson on the watercolour challenge was tricky because there was a lot of different greens in there, and if you're a beginner, you don't know about mixing greens, and there's only so many tubes of green that you can get. So this is going to be a quite lengthy.
I was originally taught never to have green in my paintbox.
Dry brush. Well, yes. I always try to get you to mix greens. However, why we've created our own greens is it just saves you some time, because it's the 3 greens I have are made exactly the way that we'd mix the greens ourselves, you know. So it's not like it's a random green. And I noticed something the other day on my Instagram grid, because it's called the grid, you see.
Is it?
Your own Instagram feed is called the grid. No matter what version of my art I post on there, so it might be a watercolour, it might be acrylics, or it might be gouache, because I use the exact same colour range in all, you know, the same 8 plus black and white depending, all of my paintings look well on the grid as I scroll through. It doesn't matter what it is, because it all has cadmium red, cadmium yellow, you know, the 2 blues and what have you. It actually creates its own harmony. Whereas I'm sure if I did a painting with Viridian in it, when I post it on my grid, it would jar like mad because it doesn't fit in with any of the other pictures. And I hadn't really noticed it before. And is it working?
Oh, look.
Hey, you've got dry brush. You've got a dry brush bottom. It is celebratory because you know what? It doesn't work most of the time for any of us. No matter how long we've been at it, it can. I know some people have a scrap bit of paper. I'm just going to move my thing down because I'm painting away at the bottom and you can't even see it. It's off the screen. But what I find with dry brushing, exactly the same as I find with dip pen calligraphy, is that if I had a scrap piece of paper, by the time I'd got the dry brush exactly how I wanted it, I'd have run out of paint and I'd have to do it again.
Yeah.
And it's the same as if I had a scrap bit of paper for doing calligraphy. You know, you dip your nib in the ink and then it blobs all over the place, and by the time you get the perfect flow, you've run out, and then you have to dip it in again.
How far up are you going with this?
I'm going to about a thumb width below the bale, so about that, and then I'm going to dilute it. So it's still going to be a dark green, but a soft dark green, and then I'll go up to nearly the second bale with the misty bottom. Well, that sounds like an Agatha Christie novel, doesn't it? The Bale with the Misty Bottom. About a milkmaid that gets murdered and we have to work out who did it. And her body was discovered in the early morning mist, and it had been baled, yes.
Ooh. Once treated a man who'd been caught in a baling machine.
Oof. AD, you know my shoulder that in December I hurt?
Yeah.
This one, still not right. I can't sleep on it. I don't know what I've done. It hurts here when I lift up my arm like that.
And then when you go further up, does it get easier?
Yes. Until I get much higher up, and it's there, right here. I don't know what I've done.
Is there sort of what they call a painful arc? So it starts being painful.
Yeah. So that's not painful. Then it starts getting painful. Yeah. So getting my coat on hurts.
Yeah.
Then here, no pain at all.
Okay.
I don't know what I've done. I think it was when I did the gritting, but it just hasn't gone away.
A particular tendon that has to go through a narrow gap.
Oh, I might have trapped me gap.
If that's inflamed, when that particular bit of the tendon goes through the gap, if you see my logic,
Yes.
that's when it hurts. So if you
because I sleep on that side.
Yeah.
And it does hurt in the morning when I wake up. It doesn't keep me awake at night, I don't think. Oh, it sounds like somebody's after the art class. Art shop.
That's a bit inconsiderate, isn't it?
It is. Oh, I think Kathy's with her. So that's nice. Right, so I'm adding a bit of water to my dry brush, which is going to be tricky because we're dry brushing.
No, I don't want to.
But we want a paler tone of this green, so it does work.
And this goes all the way past the first.
This goes past the first bale, almost up towards the second bale. If you can find your second bale.
Oh, that's a long way up.
And then I'm going to dilute it. I'm going to dilute it some more. Would help if I could speak, wouldn't it? But I tell you what, it doesn't matter if this isn't as dry brushed. If it's a little bit soggier, because we're in the mist, you're not going to see as much texture, are you? So that's all right. We want it to fade away. I mean, you could use whatever brushes you find easier to work with. And then I'll try and dilute it some more. Right to the second bale. And then leave it misty. I get misty and too much in love. It's clever, isn't it? It's a clever device using the same green but just adding more water to get it softer. Because you do get progression of that feeling that there's... Is it because they're hay bales and not straw? Probably, Paul, you're correct there with your assumption. Because it's hay, which is made of grass, isn't it? But straw isn't. Or something. I need to just do a bit more in my darker green patches. I might make some brown to do some slightly warmer foreground, you know. But I don't want to rush because we could be done very quickly and we can't have that. I might actually do some proper little flicks down right at the bottom for like a few little clumpy bits, you know. I can't wait for the new cake shop to open because I don't know what it's going to be, in the sense of
Where's the cake shop opening?
in the old Bernardo's shop.
Down
She
the road, yeah.
down the road, yeah. It's not like normal cake. She does like big proper birthday and wedding cakes and that kind of thing. So, but she is going to do a few tea and coffee and cakes downstairs, and then she's going to have a tasting area upstairs for weddings and things, because you need to taste your cake, don't you, if you're going to try something out.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
That was my favourite bit about the wedding cake, was the trying
Trying it before.
trying which flavours. We had 5 tiers, and each layer was a different type of cake, because a lot of us don't like fruit cake, you see.
Yeah.
So we had fruit for the top layer, and then I think we had a lemon drizzle, and we had a red velvet, and all of this kind of stuff.
I had the most god awful wedding cake. It was just ugh.
We ate it beautifully. I don't know what happened to the top layer, because we certainly didn't save it. We did have an anniversary. Obviously, I hadn't split up.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to say.
Yeah, I think we did have it for our first anniversary.
And you're supposed to save it for your first child.
Yeah, that ain't
And I
happened.
did that and it was so disgusting.
That hasn't happened.
Oh, it was such a nasty cake.
We invited our cake makers. They came to our wedding because we befriended them. Because I used to do wedding calligraphy, you see. So we used to do wedding fairs, and we were doing wedding fairs at the time. We were looking for ourselves, so we used to chat to the people. We met the magician that my wife wanted. We had a magician at our wedding.
I went to a wedding which had a magician. It went down really well.
Yeah, he was amazing. He was a lovely guy, and we had it for the bit in between the, because we got married in a castle. Everybody was there for the day and the night.
Yeah.
So we didn't have many more people just for the evening. And the magician was brilliant for the in-between bits where there was just the photos of me and my wife outside, and you know, where everyone's just bored. So we had mulled wine because it was in December and it was freezing cold. Mulled wine as the reception drinks, and a magician wandering around. It was quite fun, actually. It was a nice day. Whether it was worth £12,000, I'm not sure now.
Didn't we have a lovely time?
That's the trouble. It's such a lot of money.
Well, we paid for 40 of our family to sleep in the castle overnight and breakfast as well.
Where did you have the castle?
It was Roughton Castle in Shrewsbury, halfway house, because my wife's family are all from Chester and North Wales, and mine are all from the West Midlands, so halfway house. Oh, I've got to come down. I'll be back in a minute, and then it's a decaf cappuccino and a cup of tea and a hot chocolate.
Yes, please.
I will do that while I'm down.
Oh,
about the green? Oh no. Don't know if I like this picture.
Oh,
I'm not keen on it.
I know that feeling.
Just when I thought it was going to be a beautiful sun picture. All this mist is getting to me, I think. So dreary, isn't it?
What?
Mist. And it's
Yes.
dull weather, isn't it?
You sort of think it should be soft and gentle. And then you realise, no, it actually isn't.
I've got cauliflowers in this sky. I think this one is going to end up in the bin.
I'm not sure about this one.
What are they anyway? Are they all trees in the background?
Yeah. Yeah, there aren't any houses.
No, definitely. Oh, that's beautiful. Isn't it lovely?
Oh,
It
they
is.
look like little pink, don't they? Next to my tall and beautiful daughter.
Yeah, gorgeous. Which one's your husband, that one? Or this one? Ah, see, he's tall, isn't
Very
he?
tall one, yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
So
gorgeous.
that's my eldest daughter.
Yeah.
That's my son.
Mm.
And that's his niece, my
Yeah.
other one.
Yeah.
That's his fiance. So that's the bride's mother, groom, and me. Don't do that.
Go
So
away.
why did we do that? Yeah, groom's father. Groom's brother, father's girlfriend.
Lovely. Beautiful, isn't it? She looked very nice. Nice dress.
Absolutely gorgeous.
I love his little kilt stuff. It's got
Yeah,
on.
I'm making a little.
Oh, did you?
That matches his dad's kilt.
Yes, it does. Did you make the kilt?
No.
Oh,
No, they've got their own kilts.
yeah.
His mother's Scots.
Oh, right.
Macbeth.
Yeah,
So I got the Macbeth tartan.
yeah.
So I made little one waistcoat. Pattern matching.
I know, it's awful, isn't it, the tartan?
But you've got to get it
Yeah,
right.
no. I did Molly's skirt and everything.
Because if you don't get it right,
These bits have all got to match.
and they do. Because if you don't do that,
Mm.
it's wrong.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it definitely is. Oh, no, it's all got to match. Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Because it was a lovely day. So it was one of these barn venues,
Yeah.
you know, when it's all in.
Mm.
So they had the ceremony there and the reception and
Yeah, all
the
in
meal and
the same
everything.
place.
Which is easier.
Yeah, yeah. That's what one of my grandchildren, she did that. She had the whole wedding in a big, massive, great big barn,
Yeah,
and that was 3 different levels to this big
yeah.
barn building.
And you go from one,
Yeah,
yeah, because they had the wedding in one room, and then we migrated to another room
yeah,
for that in between bit.
yeah, yeah. Where you just all sort of have a drink and
Yeah.
chat and
While they changed the big room round to be where we had the meal.
yeah,
So, yeah, that worked. And then, because it was a 12 o'clock wedding, which is quite early.
yeah,
And then we ate, I think, about 4. So about 9:30 at night, they had pizzas, which was great,
yeah,
because that sort of put the lid on a lot of the ones that were getting a little bit.
yeah, merry. Under the table.
Well, there was a group of lads who Jenny had known from uni. Honestly, Marie, I've got to say, I didn't like them. They were not nice.
No,
You know, they were
right
really
out of order.
arrogant, self-entitled. You know, it was to the waiters and waitresses. Yes.
That was well worth it.
Oh, good.
I'll go back down for the drinks. Right.
Are you a rich man now?
Well, I've covered Jackie's wages for the day now,
Thank
so at
God
least
for that.
Oh, wonderful.
Excellent.
You bought a lot.
Hmm?
You bought a lot.
They bought a nice little set that it was for a gift, and it's something that I would like to have. So, you know, that's good. Right, with the green that I've got,
We're back on green.
I'm going to add a bit of red, so it goes more of a sludgy brown, and I want to shove that right at the bottom, because the more browny bits at the bottom. Joy's here really as well.
Oh, good. Red.
Paul said something about cakes as I was going downstairs. Let me see what he said. His daughter had 4 bridesmaids and each made a tier to make the wedding cake. Oh, that's nice.
Oh, that's above and beyond bridemaid duty.
That's nice.
Right, so you've got a yucky brown.
A yucky brown just to intersperse my bottom. Because red and green are complementary opposites, and when mixed together they make brown. But side by side they look beautiful. Right.
If you can see them, my brother-in-law can't see.
Reds and greens.
Actually, he's very colourblind.
Because there's special glasses now.
He has a real problem with blues.
Because apparently they know now that dogs don't see in black and white. They can see in limited colour, but they can see blues and yellows, but they can't see reds and greens. So that's why if you're going to get a dog a ball, get them a yellow or a blue, because it'll stand out against the grass, because they can't, you know, if you give them a red ball in a green grass, they won't necessarily be able to find it. Not as easily. But I follow on TikTok this cat in America who works in an optician's. And the cat has glasses, cute little cat glasses with elasticated back. There's no colour in them, no magnification in them, but she wears the glasses to show kids that it's okay to wear glasses.
Yes.
You know. So the cat loves wearing glasses, and each morning they put out 3 or 4 different coloured ones, and they ask the cat to choose which one, and the cat will point to one, and then she'll wear them. But they made the cats, because cats are colourblind. Again, they can see in some colour, but they gave her colour corrective glasses, so she could see colour, and she wouldn't let them take it off. She kept trying. They kept trying to go towards her to take the glasses off. She kept turning her head, and then they took her glasses off. They managed to, and then they gave her the choice of the 2 glasses to choose, and she went for the opposite one this time because she could see it was a different colour. She knew it was a different colour. And then she chose her own glasses again, her special corrective glasses, because she really liked to wear it and see in full colour.
Oh, that's really nice, isn't it?
Yeah. I like that. Right. See how that's brought that bottom forward now?
Yeah.
Because we've gone a bit warmer. Warmer front, cooler back. Now we will probably have to use a bit of Payne's grey or Barry's grey, Dee, for the trees at the back. But I'm just going to nip down and see if Mrs. Overall's made the drinks.
Are you taking the cups down?
No, I'm just moving mine out the way. But I will take that down in a minute. Now I'll come back for that one for you, madam.
You
That
don't
is a
have
nice
to.
sky.
Thank you.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, I think it's,
It's a lovely sky. Oops.
He's just tipping stuff on my paintings. Miss!
Back up on the glass.
Yeah. He's pouring tea on my painting.
Oh dear, hello. This is definitely one to try at home, but make it summer.
Yes. Well, yours looks really summery.
I can't do all this dull stuff. Does my name. If I wake up in the morning and the sky's like that, I get back in bed.
I'd like to.
No, I tell you, this time of year is a nightmare trying to get up out of that bed. Because he's gone to work, obviously, by sort of 5:30. And then 6:30 I'm awake.
And then you just sort of think, why am I bothering?
Pardon?
Why am I bothering?
Well, I wake up at 6:30 and I think, it's so dark out there, what am I doing?
Yeah.
So normally I'd stay there until about 7:30 and then get up.
Yeah.
This morning it was even later, it was about 8:15. I thought, oh my god. But yeah, you just want to open the curtains and see the sun shining, that's all I want. Then you don't want all this dull stuff around me.
I couldn't do Alaska, where they have winter for
Oh God, no,
9 months of the
No.
year and no sun.
no, I definitely couldn't do that.
I think that'd be very nice to live with.
No. But maybe they can't, because they live there, they get used to it, I suppose. But I don't know. No, they might probably won't. There's bound to be something that don't.
One of Alex's friends came from Narvik, which is in the Arctic Circle in Norway, and she was absolutely desperate to leave, to the point that she married an entirely unsuitable American and went to live in California. But I said to her, you know what was Narvik like? And she said, cold, wet, dark, smelt of fish and booze.
God, that's depressing.
And she said, and you wonder why we leave? There's nothing. She couldn't wait to get away.
Right.
That is awful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hot chocolate and a fudge.
A fudge.
A fudge.
Fudge, darling, thank you. Can you eat fudge?
I can. Because there's not a lot of dairy in it, so I can have it.
There's not a lot. Not a lot.
I can have, I can have a splash of milk in my tea and things, you see. It's all to do with quantities with a lot of what I can
Right.
eat. So I can have normal milk
Yeah.
in a cup of tea, but I normally go more for full fat rather than semi-skim because of the amount of sugar in semi-skim. But I couldn't have a bowl of that with. I couldn't have a bowl of cornflakes with that milk because
No.
it would. But I can have a splash. Daphne's got to make her daughter a 3-tier wedding cake on separate plinths with a seaside theme.
Wow.
Hundreds of moulded shells.
Oh, lobsters. Put lobster on it.
I like in Friends when they can be lobsters.
Yeah.
Because they mate for life. Right. That does give a nice distance, doesn't it?
Yours does.
I'm really worried though, after I finish my fudge and had some tea, that those trees might be counteract it.
Do you want me to do mine first so you can see?
Well, what I might do,
Well, maybe we haven't got the front dark enough yet then.
I mean that's going to be
It's really
dark, but I could always put the trees on and then put a smudge of white pastel over them, which would keep the misty feel, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It would keep them dark but soft. Whereas if we tried to make a dilute version of the dark, it would no longer be dark, would it?
No.
It's because I've got really strong colour there. But then, you know, looking at the photograph, it is really dark on that horizon line, isn't it?
I remember coming home once and the clouds were like that, and I was driving along and I looked up and I was completely disoriented because it looked like hills,
Yeah.
and I knew that where I was
Had no hills.
coming up to the M40 roundabout, there are not hills,
No.
and I really was quite disoriented.
It's funny, isn't it?
Because you could be forgiven for thinking they were hills.
You could, absolutely, because they're the clouds are that shape, aren't they?
Yeah.
And I've made them less solid to look more like clouds than hills, because it would be the same sort of colour as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So I think we'll do that. We'll make either use Payne's Grey, or I'm going to use Barry's Grey, which is a mix of ultramarine and burnt sienna, because they don't have Payne's Grey pigment. And then I'm just going to do you know what? I think I might add a tiny bit more ultramarine to it to make it feel a bit bluer. And that goes on the horizon. You're right up that corner.
Yeah. I'm looking for me Payne's Grey. I don't know whether I got any yesterday or just checking.
Oh, I can't remember. You did. I would have thought so.
Yes.
Oh, that does look nice, actually. I've just put that little bit in, and it does work quite well with the glow of the sky behind it. And I want to keep this nice and varied in terms of height and shape. I'm using my number 4 round.
Right, we're putting this grey at the back on.
Yeah, but I'm adding a little bit more blue to the colour to make it feel a little bit more distant. And little short downward strokes to simulate tree shapes. And maybe some... I mean, I know it's a big solid blob, isn't it? But I think I want to do some quite narrow areas where there might be a gate or something. And that'll just help the eyes flow through a little bit more. So this is right on that horizon line.
Oh, that fudge is so sweet, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
Very, very
All that works. But I think my bales are going to have to be... God, let me sit and look at this, because it will change when it dries. So I won't add any chalk until everything's painted, so I can test whether it will be well worth it. So you're going to have to make all of the shells, Daphne, out of what, icing, I suppose.
It's a very big, you know, thing to take on, isn't it? Making somebody's wedding cake.
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah.
Hey.
3 tiers, seaside theme. I think it's quite a big thing to just do a normal wedding cake, let alone without all of that.
Yeah.
Thing is, you say yes because at the time it doesn't seem as if too much of an issue.
No.
And then after a while you go, oh my god.
I spoke to him with his rather nice cake maker.
Oh, I can make cake, but I wouldn't say I was a cake maker. If
No.
that makes sense.
I make nice scones.
Ellie asked me to make her wedding cake, but then she remembered that she'd got a friend who had been invited to be on Bake Off and was dropping hints about wanting to do the cake. Ha! So to my great relief, Ellie asked her instead.
Were they on Bake Off?
No. It was the last session and they really messed the contestants around.
Oh.
You know, they wanted them to commit to 8 weeks, absolutely isolated, which basically was for her 2 months off work. You know, which when you've got a 9 to 5 job, that's a little tricky.
Well, it is really. Do they pay you then to go on Bake Off? No.
No.
You see, I thought they'd cover basic
I don't know.
bills. Because if you've got to be off for a long time.
Well, this was the point. They actually had to be away and in wherever it was they were staying.
Yeah.
But normal Bake Off, of course, you just do it from home.
Yeah.
You just travel on the day. But it was because they wanted them to be away, and she
Wow.
just couldn't see a way to justify being away from work that long.
No, it's a long time.
And they had to have planned out all their makes all the way through to the end.
So you couldn't deviate then, I suppose, because they'd
Yeah.
have to make sure you've got all your stuff that you need.
Yeah.
That takes some planning.
So right down to as if you were in the final.
So if you don't get through, you've spent all that time planning. If you
Yeah.
go out in the first week,
Yeah.
then you spent all that time planning. Nothing. I put my barn owl in a frame yesterday.
It was a very lovely barn owl.
I've got a lot of barn owls outside on the landing gallery now.
They make a terrible mess.
Do they?
That's it, put them on the carpet.
Oh no, yeah. It's all them mice you get feeding them. Or chicks. And my friends had 3 barn owls and he used to have to feed them little dead chicks and mice.
Did you give Kathy a badger?
Yes. Which is a surprise, so her daughter doesn't know. Her daughter's, it's for a surprise, so her daughter doesn't know about it. It might be for Christmas, I don't know, or birthday or Easter, I can't remember.
One of them.
One of them. Right, so I've got to work out my bale, bale, that's the right word, well done. My bale colour. I might use my tree background colour and add a little bit of cad yellow to it, so it goes a bit of a sludgy colour, because they're not quite grey and they're not quite green, are they? They're especially the distant ones.
I'm going to add a bit of yellow to mine.
Tiny bit of yellow, and then I'm going to
Oh, that's a nice colour.
soften
So yellow
with the whatever your trees were,
I've lost my bales.
and then I'm not going to do the 3 closest, 4 closest to us. I'm going to do that, clean my brush, and then soften the base of each one so it feels like they're in the mist. And I'm going to have to sort of soften the front of each one as well, because I don't want these to look like sheep, because they will look like sheep if you're not careful. So no drawing faces on yours, Marie. I know exactly what you're like. I'll never forget that cow in a field that you did, and you turned it to a pantomime cow and gave it massive eyelashes, didn't you?
You just made me laugh when you said sheep, because this one, when I got that one over the back there,
Yeah.
Like you've got two that's nearly joined together, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they look. It just looked like a sheep when you said it. Yeah.
Because it's difficult to pinpoint exactly where the light's coming from in this. Because the foreground bale is actually darker on the right hand side, isn't it? The left hand side, sorry, of each one. So I think I've highlighted the wrong end of my bales. So I'm going to have to darken them again now. Silly Barry. You can't even see any shadows with these bales, can you, on the ground?
Slight one underneath the big one.
Yeah, but the misty ones, I still might put in a tiny grey line. Oh no, they need to go the other way, because the light is coming from the right.
Yeah, it works. Little line.
And then as we get closer to the bigger ones, needs a bit more work. So I'm actually going to paint the circular ends of each one. And then soften the base with a bit of water. Let that dry, and then I'll do the longer side. I might have to make them a bit more blue with some cerulean or something, because they're wrapped in plastic, aren't they? And I think the blue plastic is reflecting the skylight. So that's what I'm thinking. I still think I need to do something more with the foreground as well. I'm going to have to think about that. Because we've drawn it, we don't want to chop it off, do we? Which we could do. I mean, we don't have to keep it exactly as is. So I'll do a bit more of a cerulean blue lighter tone on the top, and then go back to the dark, then misty bottom. And I'll probably put a little hint of shadow underneath and to the left, which helps ground them, because otherwise they're going to just float in this green, aren't they?
Yeah.
I think they look alright. I've not got them very dark, but it's the foreground one I really want to spend some time on, and we've got plenty of time. I thought this might be a really long class today, but it actually isn't, is it? It's only 3:30. So we've still got half an hour left. What am I inflicting on you next week? Did I tell you? Oh, sunset at Haverhill or Haverhill in Suffolk. I will see what that's like. Candy melts instead of fondant icing, I guess, because it will. I suppose the shells in fondant, when it goes hard, will end up tasting like, or be as brittle as real shells, wouldn't they? But less salty. I used to like making royal icing, but it is very heavy, isn't it? Oh, it's a beautiful one next week. Similar colours to this week, actually, but look at that. That's what we're going to do.
Oh, yeah.
With you can actually see the sun in it.
Now that is better. Why couldn't we done that to her?
Well, we're doing it next week.
I won't be in.
I didn't know that.
Right up the arse and everything.
I didn't know that when I planned my lessons last year that you weren't going to be here next week, Marie. I do apologise.
You knew everything, sorry.
I'll have to consult you ready for my next one.
Oh my god. Oh dear. No. Show us it again. Oh dear. I shall look at it on the thing.
Yeah, I'll put it on the thing. But I thought it was quite nice because of it having the sun, and it's quite purple in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, Paul just said 5 pence piece for the sun. Maybe, but it is a very different colour look to the background.
Yeah.
Well, if you did a wash of that yellow and then put your 5 pence piece on.
Yeah. So what we'd probably end up doing, and I might change my mind anyway, but we'd have to put the colour base on first, that orangey yellow, let it totally dry, then do the purpley clouds on top, then get our kitchen roll 5p, and then it will be the darker colour around and then orange underneath.
Yeah.
In theory, that should work. In theory, as long as the undercolour was dry.
Yeah.
It should, because the kitchen roll can't take. If it was damp kitchen roll, then it wouldn't. It'll take everything off, and you'll get a white sun. But if it was totally dry, and you're just walloping on very quickly the purple clouds, and it quick off,
Yeah.
I reckon it should work. So that'll be the plan. Remind me, because I'll have forgotten.
Make sure you remind him too.
I think I might have to darken my bales a little bit more at the top. It's not looking as misty though. Although it does. Oh, I've got to go out of stop. I'm out of focus. It doesn't look misty, does it? I might have to put some chalk on this.
I don't know how I've done it, but I've got a line between the trees and the hay bales.
A line of.
Nothing.
Stick a bit of the. Okay. So you got floating trees. Oh yes, you have. Stick a bit of that green in, the lighter green.
The lighter green?
Which, yeah, I'd stick some of that in. I don't know how you managed that. Well done.
Oh my god. I've got to get the light green. Where's the light green?
It was cad yellow and cerulean.
Yeah.
Right, I've just had to mix up a bit more of my colour for the big bale. And actually, that's not as misty, is it?
No, which is why it's light on the top, I think.
Yes.
So it's really dark front circle.
Yeah, but that's still my. There is a bit of cad red in there, cad yellow in there still, so it's more of a greeny grey, straw colour. Flick down a little bit so it looks like the grass is in front. And I'm going to paint, as it's drying, I'm going to paint a swirl. So it looks like the baling machine's rolled it up, you know. and then add a bit of that to the left so it feels like a bit of extra shadow. And then I'll let that dry, and then we'll do the, I might use the same colour for the bottom but then a bit more cerulean to the top. But I do want to do something more with the foreground, and I will want to add a bit of mist.
Have you been watching anything any good on television?
I don't watch telly really anymore, which is quite
I
frustrating.
don't watch it very often. I watch Dancing on Ice.
John never got into that.
Neither have I, Dee. And it only happened, I was watching it last week, and not last week, the week before, and I thought, oh, that's quite sweet actually. So I did have a quick look at it this week. I don't normally look at that sort of thing.
I do Strictly.
Strictly Come Dancing?
Yeah, I'll do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But I've not really done.
The ice one?
No.
No.
I did watch it originally, because is that Phil and Holly that used to do that, or do they still do that? They used to be
Phil
the
and Holly.
compares. Philip Schofield and Holly
Yeah,
Willoughby were the
Yeah.
compares.
Yeah. Right.
I almost preferred that to Strictly.
Where did you get that brown from?
That was the tree colour with a bit of yellow. The thing I've just painted with the hay bale. So that's your Payne's grey with a bit of yellow. I don't know. I think I used to do a lot of ice skating really badly when I was in my early 20s at Telford Ice Rink. Used to travel up there, 3 or 4 cars of us, and that was our Friday night.
I used to take the kids there for their parties when they were young teenagers. If you went down to, I think it was Silver Blades at Oxford, used to pack about 6 of them in the car and take them down, and it was dirt cheap. Give them £1 for the vending machine each.
Yeah.
You go down in the evening and then drop them off with their parents about midnight. Job done.
That's good. I used to like ice skating. I was really rubbish. There was one time when I was doing quite well, and I wasn't around the edge. I was in the middle,
Oh God.
going round, and I went, and I was like Bambi.
Yeah.
And then the only thing to stop my fall, I just reached out and ended up grabbing this lady's bottom.
Oh no.
But it was the only thing to save me from falling down. But then I think I'd rather have fallen than have the embarrassment of grabbing this lady's bottom. She was lovely about it, but you know, it's not what you really want to go around doing, is it?
Not really.
But it, literally, you know, when you just find anything to stop you from falling.
Yeah.
And I went, I'm so sorry.
I bet she was fine.
Yeah, she was.
No, I like roller skating.
You see, I can't do it. I can't roller skate and I can't skateboard. I can't stand up on a skateboard. I've got no. My balance is appalling.
Do you practice?
Not anymore. I tried. I spent a long time when I was a kid, and I'm no good. I mean, it took me so long to learn to drive because I've got really rubbish coordination. I couldn't get my feet. I couldn't get my feet to do something different to my arms. So I spent 2 hours on a car park having to do a figure of 8 to feed the wheel and change gear, because I just couldn't get it. Obviously I've got it now, hopefully.
That's what they tell you.
Yeah, well I passed, so it don't matter. But yeah, I really struggle with my coordination for that kind of stuff. I've got rubbish reflexes, so if you throw something to me, the chances are I won't be able to catch it and it'll just hit me in the face. I can't judge speed or anything. I'm better in the car, but I spend a bit of time on junctions sometimes because I can't judge how fast the cars come in. Sometimes it looks like they're coming a lot faster than they are, and I wish I could have gone, but other times they're coming too fast, and it scares me. It took me 2 years to pass. I had 2 hours a week for 2 years to pass my driving test. It really, I failed the first time. I really struggled.
Well, my sister, she was worse she's absolutely worse than you. And I mean, she's never took it in the end. She took so many driving tests and lessons.
Yeah.
And in the end, she said to me, "No, I'm not going to do it anymore." She said,
No.
"I don't want to drive." She said, "I just can't get it."
My mum was the same, you know. She never drove. She couldn't pass a test, and she started learning in the 60s. But then
Funny with people. Must be some sort of thing in your brain.
I think it is, but also with my mum, she used to say she fell pregnant not long after each test she took. So she said, "I'm not going to take it again. I'm not risking that again." But I don't think it was anything to do with the test, but any excuse. But there are dents still down certain country lanes in the West Midlands where my mother stopped the car in it to create the dent because she lost control. She wanted a motorbike in the 60s.
I remember Susie, right, one of mine, Molly's mum, when she first learnt to drive. God, this is going to be a nightmare because whatever she does, I don't know what it is. Maybe she's got something like what you have, right? If you put her in the swimming pool, she'll swim underneath the water beautifully.
Yeah.
But if you don't, she just cannot get it. She'll go round and round in circles. And when we used to teach her to ride a bike when she was little,
Yeah.
over the fields, she just couldn't get that either. We just pushed her off on the bike in the end and left her, and that she fell off of it, like, you know.
Oh.
We had enough. We couldn't. She just could not get to grips. And the only way she's learned is by teaching Molly.
Yeah.
2 years ago when we first got locked down.
It sounds a bit like it's a coordination thing.
Yeah, and she's so determined, Susie.
Yeah.
She's really strong-minded that she actually learned.
See, I can't play a guitar. I can't play a guitar for the same thing because this hand has to do this and this hand has to do that.
Yeah.
And I can't do that. If I sit at a piano, I can play exactly the same tune on this hand and this hand at the same time, but I can't get this hand to do something that this hand is different. No. So it's a coordination thing. I think I've got a bit missing in my head. Some would argue I've got a lot missing in me. Well, this is it. I can't be amazing at everything, can I?
Well, no, nobody can they?
No.
I mean,
I've got to know my limits.
Lots of things.
So I won't be playing. I could play the saxophone, but that's you don't. You know, your fingers are doing the same sort of thing.
Yes, they are, aren't they?
And I used to play the clarinet. Not very well, but I could play those. They're the two instruments that worked well for me.
Yeah.
But no, piano. I really wanted to learn the piano as well.
Yeah, I was never good at any musical instruments. I used to sing the song down the recorder when I was at school. Really behind my eyes.
Yeah, I could. I struggle with the recorder.
But,
No, it's funny, isn't it? How we're predisposed to certain things. But I haven't got a musical family. Nobody plays an instrument in my family at all.
No, but Elizabeth, she learned how to play the keyboard. She's very, very good at it. She's not done it since. Molly's pretty good. She's learned to play the keyboard. Matthew's learning how to play the guitar. He strums away on that. That's not too bad, but I don't think I did the day too well. But I think that's about it in the family.
You see, Jackie. She can play the piano, clarinet, violin. I've got like a few things like a tin whistle and whatever, and she'll walk in, pick it up. Never played it before.
No.
I got an ocarina, which is like a little clay pipe, but it looks like a pufferfish. And I couldn't get a note. I brought it in. I said, I cannot get a tune out of this. I was reading the book, trying to get where my fingers need to go in the notes. Just handed it to her, and she said, "It's easy." I said, "But you're not even reading the book." She said, "That's why it's easy. I can just." She just picks it up. She's so clever.
How old are her children, Barry?
15 and 12.
Oh, right.
They're teenagers now.
Yeah. The youngest is not quite a teenager. She will be a teenager in July. June or July. I need to make a bit more green, and I want to put a bit more brown down this front.
go to college up the M42, Birmingham College up there.
Yeah.
And I was dreading it going on the motorway. And she had this little old car.
I found motorway driving much easier.
Well, she loves it.
Yeah.
I can't stand it, but she loves it.
Because you're all going the same way, so it's, you know, you haven't got to think too much. You're not thinking too much. I hate roundabouts. And where I lived, there was a really busy junction, and I couldn't turn right on it. I would rather turn left and go round and do an extra 3 miles to get back on that road, because I wouldn't turn right.
Yeah.
And if I go that way now, I still won't turn right on that junction, because it's just horrible. They don't allow enough space. It's funny, isn't it?
She phoned me up and she said, Mum, I said, what? She said, I've broken down. I said, where are you? She said, on the motorway. What do I do? I said, get out of the bleeding car for a start. Get on the glass road. But she coped with it, and all the time she was at uni, she broke down 3 times. But I went out with her one day. It was so funny.
Really?
Oh, God. I had to teach her to reverse properly anyway, reverse parking. That was a nightmare. But we were driving down this country road. It was a very narrow country road, and there was something in the middle of the road. It was like a box type thing, right? And I saw it, obviously, and she's merrily driving along there, like, you know, and she went straight over this thing.
Oh, she didn't see it.
What was that? So I said, well, I think it was a bit of a cardboard box, Susie. I said, did you not see it? She said, well, I did see something. I said, well, you're supposed to.
You're supposed to look at it.
I'll go round it, one of the two.
Gosh, what if that was like a metal box or something?
I don't know what it was, but
Because that would have been, dear, oh. It does sound like she's got coordination issues. I'm going to stop, let that dry, and then see if I need to smudge a bit of pastel over those background ones. But I think I've managed to get a bit of distance. Paul says, I won't go to France because they drive on the other side of the road. I tried it from here to Oxford. It's really dangerous.
I went to Lola and I and Jade when she was tiny, because Terry was in the army, and we went to Germany to see him.
Yeah.
It was only Lola and me and Jade, and we was in the car, like, we got off the boat, and she was, right, which way do we go now? I said, well, we've got to get them to the autobahn thing, or whatever you call it. And so we done that all right, but when we got off round the side street, because I'd forgotten they're on the opposite side, I set her off down this road. And this car was coming towards us. Mum, car's coming towards us. Oh my God, do something!
Do something.
Do something.
She swerved and went up this really little tiny lane, like, you know. She said, oh my God, she said, this is awful.
You see, I think that would really scare me. I'm not sure I'd be very good at.
That's why I like driving in Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah, same side.
On the left, on the correct side.
Yeah.
I saw a video about why we drive on the.
To do with having your sword hand.
Yes, it is for when you're doing jousting and stuff. You've got because you're always right-handed to have, so when you pass somebody else, you can stab them. And that's why, obviously, with America, they drive on the left, because their country isn't that old that they had the jousting and the sword.
That was still horses.
Well, apparently there were certain states in America that drove on the left.
Oh God. It's a bit like Ireland, isn't it? Because they're talking about phasing it in.
Yeah. So I think there were areas, but they've now unified it. But way back, there were parts of America that would drive on the same side initially.
Could I trouble you for some?
Do you want to rub your finger on my pastel? Oh, you got gold nail varnish you've got.
Yeah.
Very fancy.
That's
Nice,
all right.
look at that.
Yeah.
Don't show Jackie because she's obsessed with nail varnish. I've never known anybody own so many bottles.
Oh God, you can't have too many.
I'm glad I did that misty bit because it has pushed it back. and it's made the foreground stronger, don't you think?
I think so. I'm not sure yet.
I do like my sky, but I don't know. Maybe if I does that work with the bottom chopped off like that? Look.
I think it works better with the bottom chopped off.
Do you know what I'd almost want to do is put. I'm going to do this, but you don't have to. Right, I'm going to just do the edge of a bale.
A really big one.
Yeah, and see how we get on.
Where did you get all that misty looking stuff?
A bit of chalk.
Oh, okay.
Bit of chalk on my finger.
A bit of chalk on your finger.
Now this'll make or break it.
Eh?
This'll make or break my picture. I'm adding something. I'm being a just adder. Huh?
You can have mine if you ruin yours.
Oh, thank you. Don't sign it then. I'll pass it off as mine.
I'm sure you can work on it.
Why would I need to?
I bought loads of paints yesterday.
Good.
Did you?
Yeah. And a new pad.
Will it keep me in beans on toast?
Keep me amused while I'm at home. Plus I've got a two-sided puzzle to do. Round one.
Oh, blimey. We sell some puzzles now.
It'll be all right until you have your eyes done, won't it?
Well, I
Yeah,
don't
but
know.
you should be able to see as soon as it's done, shouldn't you? When you have
Well,
your
the
eyes
first
done?
day, I'm coming in. I'm coming in on the. I have it done on the Friday,
Yeah.
right? On the 20. Right, where's my phone?
That's better, Barry.
It's added a bit more something, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. That's really pushed the rest back, hasn't it? Dates. Right. So I'm having my eyes done on the 28th of February. No, that ain't right, is it? I booked in to come back to on the 24th of February to do watercolours.
On the 24th.
Yeah, am I?
So you'll be having your...
And then I'm not. And then on the 3rd of March. That's right. Yeah. So on the 25th, I think it is. I'm having the eyes done.
Of February.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you said after that you can drive within a couple of days,
Yeah,
can't you?
I can drive in a couple of days, so I should be back on the 2nd or 3rd of March. I know I told booked it all in Jackie, didn't I?
Yeah. That does make a difference, doesn't it?
Massive. I'm copying you.
Well, with something like that... Oh, you're still not happy with your sky, Judy? Because I know last week you weren't very pleased with what you did, but I think you did a cracking job. That does make a difference, doesn't it? Just having that extra bit.
It's a reason to have all that grass there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's kind of why have you got it there?
Yeah. Because it doesn't lead you in either, does it?
No.
Joy was pleased with her sky, but she splashed it now and it's got birds in it. Well, that's all right. A bit of birds, all right. No, I'm pleased with that. I think that's come out all right. I'm glad that. Oh yeah, Dee, that's really brought your foreground forward, doesn't it?
A massive difference.
And it has. You're right. It's pushed the other hay bales way, way back.
Yeah, they're much further back now.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. I won't lock up or anything. Promise. No, I'm definitely happier now I've done that. But I don't know if I got the curvy bit right. And obviously, because it's closer, I've got to make a bit more of the swirly part of the bale, which you can do by lifting out. It doesn't even have to be a lot, but it just makes it feel like it's been baled and rolled. So I'll let you know what's coming up. Although tomorrow afternoon it doesn't make any difference because you've already done it. It's the 2 yellow and blue macaw parrots.
Oh, they were nice.
So that's what Friday's class are doing. Then Saturday morning is our free demo, our free monthly demo. So that's a 45-minute demo, and I'm doing layers of misty fir trees. And it's a whole sheet of misty fir trees in watercolour. Then Monday morning from Wardington, I am doing a big old mossy tree in acrylics. Monday evening's watercolour class is buildings with a river and a gondola, but I think it's Cambridge. It's definitely not Venice. Tuesday afternoon's acrylic class is an evening on the lake at Stourhead. Wednesday morning's gouache class is a little sparrow on a mossy twig. Wednesday afternoon's drawing class is a kingfisher. Thursday morning's pastel class is a rural view. Really nice actually, because it's the whole scene is a whole page of layered land. So it's like cool colours at the back, greens and browns and yellows at the front. And next Thursday afternoon you've got your sunset of Suffolk.
Nice.
Paul wants to see what you've done.
Okay. Good.
This is Dee's.
Oh, that
It's
one.
lovely, isn't it?
It's blue in the middle.
It's nice, isn't it?
Really nice.
Yeah.
That's lovely.
Yeah, it is nice.
Oh, I'm quite pleased with it.
Yeah. I think you were right too on that
Yeah,
bale.
that bale made all the difference.
Did they all want to have a laugh?
I'm not going to laugh.
Don't! I love people to have a laugh.
Marie wants you to laugh at hers. This is Marie's. That's quite nice actually.
Yeah, you see, that bale makes all the difference, doesn't it?
It does. And now you've filled in that gap of white of floating trees.
Pardon?
You had that gap of floating tree, didn't you? That was just
Yeah.
white paper
I
there.
don't know how you got that.
No.
Why?
Well done though, because that was different.
Good.
And I like your blend there. That's lovely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've just messed up with the clouds.
Well, I don't know. I think some of them are like that.
Sometimes
It is that
I
shape.
get clouds right, and other times I just get a
I
splodge.
think it had dried as you were adding it. You know.
Yeah.
So there we go. You got a lovely off, Paul.
It is about the wetness.
But that's the hardest thing, isn't it? Because the slightest variation of room temperature will totally dry your paper one week,
Yeah.
and then the next week you'll do the same thing,
Yeah.
and then it'll either be too wet or too dry. It's really hard to get that balance.
I think sometimes as well, I could do with having a class or a lesson
Yeah.
on how to actually hold your paintbrush. And
Okay.
use it when you're how to
Yeah,
make
I know
the
what you mean.
cloud. Do you
Yeah.
see what I mean?
Yeah.
I sit
I'll
and
I'll
watch you sometimes. And I think,
Technique.
oh, I'll do
I'll
that.
I'll talk about my technique more in
Yeah.
all of the classes this year.
Yeah. Because I watch you and I try and do the same and I don't get it. And
No.
I'm a bit like you with your driving.
Yeah.
Oh, don't get it.
Well, this is it. Well, I've been doing this for such a long time. It's a natural thing for
Well,
me,
yes,
whereas
it is.
driving is not a natural. Well, wasn't a natural thing.
Yeah.
So it's exactly the same. Yeah, we can do that. I can discuss my
That's
my
a good
technique.
idea, actually.
Which paintbrush I'm supposed to use.
Yeah, and how to wield it.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, everyone. I will take a photograph of this and post it underneath the reference that I put up this morning while I was having my breakfast. Multitasking. So have a really good weekend. If I don't see you online or whatever beforehand, have a good weekend and stay safe. I don't know what the weather's going to be like, but it is starting to get milder. The snowdrops are out, and I noticed all the crocuses in people's park are just coming up now. So that's lovely. So take care. See you soon. And I look forward to seeing what you post with your work. Bye, everybody. Bye.